Is that my 3, 2, 1, go?
All right, you're live.
Hello, everybody. It's Bill Sumner and Brian Hemmer. Hope you're doing awesome out there tonight. As always, we are full of gratitude that you're here. Uh, Thank you for your time. I know it's the most precious resource that you have to give me, and I really, really appreciate the fact that you're here. Title tonight: Passion into Income. And I absolutely love this picture. If you understand on any work with the Inevitable You know what we are very much focused on EQ fluency, and mastery, that you can put together this incredible, excited feeling about your life, about your money, about what makes you passionate. And the question really becomes, why is this such a hot topic? It's one of the largest webinars we've done recently. It was something we put together. We had a couple of questions. We have webinars in other formats, and somebody said, you really should cover this. So I said, great. We put this webinar together about 10 days, and look at how big it is and how many awesome people are here. And the biggest thing that I think about when I think about passion into income and why we did it as passion is the question begs the answer: what do you do in life that you are passionate about? Some people would say maybe it's their love relationship, and then you look at how the fire might still be hot, but the coals are kind of gray. It's kind of burned down a little bit. Some might say that it's parenting and their children. Some people might have it in their business. The likelihood is you're not on this call. If you already found passion in your career and business, you probably aren't on this call. Or the slides I'm going to cover, you're going to, yeah, I already know that. But for most of us, we're busy running these equations on what we can and cannot do, what we believe, what's real, what's not real for us. We know other people can, or that it's theoretically possible too, but what we believe about us and what we're willing to do at a passion level, um, yeah, it's one of the most challenging areas to get passionate around money. Now, I want to start off with the fact that uh, wealth and money, they're mindsets. They're not real. Wealth and money and abundance, it doesn't really exist the way most people think. In the little TIY toolbox, the Inevitable You toolbox, we talk a lot about, what is the operating system, what's the software, and how much of it is data that you're putting into the software. Let me ask you this question. If you had a choice to choose, I could give you tonight $1 million winning lottery ticket, or I could give you a red paper clip. And which one would you choose? Now, it looks fairly ludicrous. I think almost anybody in their rational right mind would say, well, of course, I'll take the $1 million, because even if the paperclip had value with $1 million, I could buy a lot of paper clips. But here's the reason why this is a mindset, and this becomes such a fun, difficult, really challenging question for most people to understand. If you have either one, be it the lottery ticket or the paperclip, you have both. Meaning, if you have the lottery ticket, which is the way most of you went, you could buy a paperclip. But the reality is, if you have a paperclip, you can also create $1 million. And this is a true story about a gentleman, it's probably 6 years ago now. He went into this flat, virtual, fast, unbelievable world and said, you know what? If I could make 100 trades, and I'll take 12 months to do it. I'm going to give myself 12 months. If I could trade that paperclip, he took a red paperclip, and I'm going to trade it for, something. And then I'm going to take that something and trade it for something else. And I'm going to take something else, and I'm going to continue to trade up. Maybe I'll blow a trade here and there, but I'm going to keep trading up. Can I take that paperclip in this world, trade 100 times over 12 months, and I want to create a $300,000 home for myself. Can it be done? The answer is no, it didn't happen the way he manifested it, because it was 42 trades in 9 months, and he ended up with a $330,000 home in Scottsdale, Arizona. In fact, his 41st trade was $350,000 5-week timeshare in Lake Tahoe, and he didn't want that, so he traded actually down to get the home in Scottsdale that he wanted. And as I always like to joke, to this day, I'm waiting. I'm absolutely waiting for the first client to come to me. Maybe you're on the call today to say, you know what? I did what you said, Sumner, and it took me 2 years and a whole bunch of trades, and all I got was a 125,000 condo in Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, a paperclip. So the point of, if I have one, I have both, at an even more tragic level, do you know what happens to 80% of lottery winners that walk out with that lottery ticket? Because they don't understand this equation of resources versus resourcefulness, they lose that money and they're in worse shape and will tell you it's the worst thing that happened to you. Versus if you know you're resourceful, you're never broke, because you can always take a paper clip and you can turn it into anything that you want. Now, in the I'm waiting for someone to come do this, I actually did this in a seminar. I didn't get a $125,000 condo, but Melody gave me permission to use her name, jumped up and down with excitement. She said, my twins, when they were sweet 16, we had not the traditional scavenger hunt. We gave them a paperclip, and we gave them 3 hours, and we said, go out and trade in the neighborhood. Who brings back the most valuable prize? Trading a paperclip. And actually, her daughters won, because obviously she's a little steeped in my technology. They brought back a brand new $300, never been used, and they really needed it, by the way, lawnmower. How exciting is that? So when we get to wealth and abundance, if you just want wealth and abundance tools, we got them galore. Email Brian, send Brian a question in the text box. I'll give you wealth and abundance tools. We've done other webinars. This is not that. This is more. This is about how to turn your passion into income. And I told you there would be things that you would hear tonight. And if you're reading my screen, can you see my menu over there, Brian? The number one tip for tonight, you got to stay till the end. We'll be done in well under an hour, but I'm going to give you something that's going to, for most of you, mean thousands of dollars cash in your pocket beginning tonight. I'm going to tell you how to be resourceful on something that many of you are not doing, but we won't get there yet. I want to talk about passion into income. What does that mean? Now, first of all, there are standard kind of neural programming tools, or TIY. If you ever see me write that, that's the inevitable you. Tools that you have to understand in order to fully activate this software, to activate this. And again, tonight's more on one very specific thread, passion to income. But whether you're using the Towards and Away tool, the formula, the I have a dream. I already mentioned to you software versus data, how you frame and reframe. Any one of these tools. And again, if for some reason you want to write and connect to Brian tonight and say, hey, Brian, I want all of these. I've got all of these in video. I've got all of these in book chapters. I've got all of this stuff. I'll send it to you. The fact that you're here tonight, again, is my gratitude. I'm more than happy to share this content with you. I'm a traditional social media guy. I'll give away a lot of my best stuff for free, because what sits behind it is equally awesome. And at the same time, there is one very specific NLP tool that I do want to cover with you tonight so that you can ponder the credibility that I'm going to tell you later, that if this is the number one tool to take your passion and turn it into your income, do you believe it will work for you? So you have to understand the power of neural programming, how we program, how we reprogram. Now, there is a longer, almost 25-minute video tool. I've extracted some key points for purposes of the webinar tonight. This is what I want you to ponder. When I begin teaching neural programming, why do I use this photo? Well, it's very important to understand that, in essence, habitual sentences that we use over and over again, where do they come from? Where does that habitual sentence, and why is that sentence true? Why isn't another sentence? Why can't we knock it one word off or make it a better adjective? Why is the habitual sentences we use over and over about our passion, about our income, about our wealth, why are they true? So I picture this little boy, this little girl, head down on the chalkboard of life, getting punished, being told you were happy, you were breaking the rules, you were skipping around, you were being epic. And somebody in the system said, sit down, shut up, color within the lines. We'll give you an A+, and if you don't do that, we're going to make you sit at the blackboard of life and we're going to punish you. And so the reality is we have habitual sentences that are true, that we say over and over and over and over again. And that's what makes them true. They're not true for any other reason than you continue to say them over and over again as truth. Now, the science of it is what you say, and saying is a form of communications. So thinking, that is also a form of communications. And the words have meaning. There is a meaning to the words that you use when you're driving, when you're falling asleep at night, when you're just sitting there talking to yourself, thinking your thoughts. And most importantly, most importantly, you emotionalize them, because it is the emotion that is creating the wiring in the brain. That is coming straight out of your hypothalamus. That is what wires the neural network repetitively or intensely. Repetitively or intensely wires the neural network that is true. And consequent, it is now your reality. So when you say, I can't, I will, I won't, you want to make it a longer sentence. Why would I ever think that? That'll never happen for me. Who do I think that I am? Why do I think my passion could create income? How could it replace the income? Blah, 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 blah. Those habitual sentences versus, okay, I get it, Bill. I'm going to do new habitual sentences. I'm going to think this. I know that. This will, not yet, but it will. I'll find a way. I am the woman. I am the man that's going to figure this out no matter what. If these become the new habitual sentences, and now you change them, the problem is, okay, fine. So are you going to write me tomorrow and go, oh, thanks, Bill, for this amazing webinar. I changed all my sentences. And the answer is, for many of you, no, because you don't believe they're true. And you go back to repeating the other sentence. So everything becomes self-fulfilling. So how do you change what you believe? Now, I'm not going to cover this tonight. This is in other webinars, whether it's I Need the Evidence, that's Rockstar Album Sales Tool, whether it's Fake It, Make It, which is not how your mind changes, that never works, whether it's Law of Attraction, that is my shorthand. You want to be kind of new age and and follow the secret, and you're going to ask and believe, and the actual movie says then you're going to receive. I'm more of a Jack Canfield devotee that says no, you have to become and take the inspired act, and then, but if you don't believe that second command, you're in this do loop because you got to believe to receive. You're right. That doesn't work. There's only one way to consistently, powerfully, over and over again, change your beliefs. And I've already told you, it lies in the emotions. And so if you only remember one sentence from tonight's webinar, this is the sentence. Put the emotion in your body you would have when the belief is true. So if you want to put passion in your body and you feel that and you can't undermine or diminish it or think it and not feel it, that's called dissociated. We don't want you to dissociate. We want you to associate and feel passion. We want you to put the emotion in your body when the belief is true. And for any of you out there that's saying, well, why would I do that? Or how can I put the emotions of wealth and abundance and prosperity when I don't have it? Seems like to me, in order for my feeling to be true, then the data, the facts need to be true. The reality is you are already most likely an expert at doing this, because many of us put anxiety in our body, and it's true anxiety. We will feel that fist of doom, that sinking, almost sick to my stomach feeling. We'll put anxiety in our body for crap that almost never comes true. And in fact, we think this is logical because we'll say, well, it didn't come true because I worried about it. Well, how dumb is that? There's no logic to that. It didn't come true because it didn't come true. And what comes true is data. It's not in the operating system. What comes true is I have a paper clip. Do you think you're going to take a paper clip and start trading it, and 2 years from now write me and said, oh, I lost my paper clip? What's going to happen to you? If you put passion into what you chase, what's going to happen to you? Do you think this is going to be a disaster? We don't do these things. You know, you put the emotion in your body, it feels true. It's getting into the right brain chemistry. You actually become addicted. Just as you're addicted to anxiety today, you become addicted to the good neural peptides, the dopamine, the serotonin levels that accompany the great emotion. And the great emotion wires the thought. So the caveat is that now you have to repeat the new habitual, like you currently do with most negative thoughts. So we live in a golden age. Go YouTube, go look at a live electron microscope of two neurons. There they are. This is the animated, so you see it more clearly. But you got these two little elephant trunks that kind of wave together, and then there's this little lightning bolt of electricity that goes between the two of them. And that's the thought. That's the memory. That's the good memory. That's winning something. That's being picked captain of something. That's winning a part in a play. That's your first kiss. That's the trauma. That's when your heart was broken. That's when trauma happened. That's when your first disaster befell you. That's all it is. That's all it is. And now you create habitual sentences. So what is neural programming? A pattern of sentences, words, and thoughts that convey your world at a habitual level. So we're going to change that tonight. Now here's the primary way we're going to do this. Most of you out there use what I call the but tool, and you're less likely to use the and tool. What does that mean? Well, that means that I'm going to tell you something tonight, and you're going to go, yeah, but. Well, when you but something, it means the yeah is discarded, diminished, destroyed, reduced. You can say yeah, and now you're going to add something to the yeah, and it could be challenging, it could be, But the original affirmation, the original assent that says, I believe, yes, and everything changes. Now, when I talk about, who am I today? I always like to use the bell curve tool. It's a whole lot more clarity to your true habitual sentences when you tend to think of them as there's a small percentage that fit at the top, there's a small percentage that fits at the bottom, and then there's this big percentage in the middle. So in the top percentage of and users versus but tools, these people set an intention, they follow a dream. So it might be I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a veterinarian. It doesn't matter. They set and follow a dream. Now ponder this. Did they set that dream and follow that ever because it was about money? And 9 times out of 9, not 9 out of 10, 9 out of 9, it was not about money. I'm going to go into the people who want to be doctors because they want to be wealthy, or people who want to be something. Obviously, firefighters and potentially veterinarians are working. You're not going to become wealthy there. You do in your passion. They took the yeah but seminar. They're taking their passion, and it's but money. So we don't want you to do that. We want you to have your passion and turn it into income. So if you're a firefighter, if you're a veterinarian, if you're in the Forest Service, or you're a doctor who has staggering student loans, no matter who you are tonight, passion into income, in the Towards and Away tool. And this is a TED Talk link. This is a 24-minute video. If you want to see it, it is the #1 tool in the system. I actually go into, there's a Dr. A, and he's in this great pattern, and he's producing a lot of value. It's not about money. He's healing people. He's got the top practice in the town. And then I go into the motivations of why he is that doctor. And then I talk about Dr. B. So you begin to see that the underlying motivations, which why I said I'm going to come to the setting the dream and the intention. If you set it about money, if you are about money, you're going to tend to go into money related fields. Because again, doctors walk out with staggering debt. You don't go through medical school. You may start medical school because you think you're going to be wealthy. You don't finish medical school just for money. You finish it. It could be negative. It could be ego. It could be, there could be negative underpinnings, beyond healing and the glass half full, glass half empty. There's always the positives. But again, in this webinar that we're framing, your passion into income, when it is about money, you're a banker. You go get a business degree. Today, all the millennials, they're getting into social media or internet marketing, bricks and mortar, stores and business careers are going away. It's a different business world that our children are beginning to make their way in today. When it is about money, it's not about passion. You find in the top percentage, they follow because they've had a dream and they chase it. Now, the bigger middle, this is the 80% of the curve. You could be very close to the top. You could be the 89th percentile. You could be the 51st percentile. You know what we like about the 51st percentile? Those people are above average, and they know it. They may be in a lot of pain, and they may have compromises and blah, 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 but hey, I'm better off than most people. So when we look at the middle, they're very well intentioned. They most likely, like the top, started with plans. And then my wife has had behind our kitchen sink a great little thing for years and years. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making plans. Now, when that life happens to you, and obviously that's not a positive, that's not the lottery ticket. That's somebody took all your paper clips. Something has happened to you. You'll still do the best you can. You're still going to be above average to average, and Some of you are actually on this call tonight. There's nothing wrong or bad about that. You're still trying to figure this out within the parameters of your habitual sentences, but you're still trying to figure this out. Now, at the bottom end, the lowest percentage, now they know unconsciously intended to be there. They didn't wake up and say, you know what, I want to live a life of pain and misery and poverty. No, nobody says that. They might have bad luck. It could be individual, it could be a long thread in their family, it could be trauma. That's my shorthand. That is a TIY tool. It stands for family of origin. It could be what your family of origin dictated that you could and could not do, who you are, who you are not. Now, we do have a very active toolbox that explains this bottom percentage person. If nothing else, it's really important because most people who come to the Inevitable You come here to be better leaders. So we want to heal and work and understand and not discard, throw away, diminish people that are in pain. There's no 4-year-olds that are rotten. They're all awesome. They learn to be rotten. So leaders are what change this. So this very active toolbox, whether it's an interim, you're at the bottom, you've suffered a setback, you've chapter 7, lost your job, lost your marriage, all of that happened at the same time. Or sometimes it's permanent. This has all happened a while ago, and you're stuck. You're not getting out. We can get you out. Again, I want to frame for you why some people have an easier time getting passion to income versus not. But while all of this is going on, and there's the active toolbox, we want you to ponder your wealth equations, beliefs surrounding passion versus income. Is it an and that I can do both, or I'm going to figure out both, or I'm working to both? Because the biggest problem, again, even as people are looking at this webinar, they're busy giving me the buts, but I have this problem, but I have this limitation. All I got is a paper clip, and it'll take me too long. Well, for every person who says they can't do something, if you knew a year from now, by the way, if you set a $500,000 house, because this is 6 years ago, but real estate's been hot in most places the last 6 years. Can you do a paper clip to a house? You have to grasp the power of these tools. So when we open up for Q&A at the end of the call, you can ask it. You ponder this call. You want to call me, over the weekend, early next week. I'm here for you on this. These are powerful, game-changing. Now we're going to turn our passion into income. Now, when we're talking about successful business, or you own it, or you're a leader in a business model. I know most of the people on this call, there's not a lot of just people buried in an organization with a job. It might feel like that, but you're a supervisor, you're an expert contributor, you're leading meetings, you guys are on the ball more than not. You have to know your definition, because one, most people will give me the theory of what that looks like, and then they will give me, and then there's me, and here's what, I am. And now we go into the habitual sentences. I can do this. I can't do that. I'm stuck here. Let me tell you all about my limitations, because that's the first thing that I want to talk about. You're going to want to sit down tonight, this weekend, pretty quickly, and you're going to want to sit down and write down. And if you want to do theory and then there's me, great. Just make sure that the then there's me is this new, awakened person from this phone call that said, yeah, you know what a paperclip is, or this is. Because under success, if you do not have passion in your definition, I want you to ponder this. If you do not have passion in your definition, and when do you think you would be? Would it ever be there? Did you put passion? You can go back to the people that wanted to be the doctors and the lawyers and the long schooling and the high student loans, but yeah, no, they had passion. They may not say it that way, but they have a passion to heal. They have a passion to argue law in court. They see themselves as the little 4-year-old epic hero that they saw themselves at. They began this journey with. And then even if you're a doctor, lawyer, or even if you're in the Forest Service, then life intrudes. Where does passion go? They may say, I'm doing my dream job. I'm a Forest Service person, or I'm doing what I dreamed of, but now here's all the other pain and agony that I have. We'll still see the software that they're running, be it love, be it health, whatever it is. But we're taking your passion tonight. And by the way, because there's a couple of you out there, I know this goes through you. Well, I know people that aren't very passionate and they make a lot of money. Well, yeah, you can. And in fact, that is in my big Towards and Away video, because most people, when they really begin to understand the power of this science structure to your thought, the actual core structure to how you think, they automatically begin to assume that moving away from what you don't want, or don't spill the milk, is a negative, bad command. They're like, oh, that's bad. But then I always go to the little boy, the little girl that's very, very fierce, incredibly fierce. And they are never, never, never. They come from the wrong side of the tracks or the wrong part of town. Never, 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 never will they be poor. They're going to be rich. Oh, they'll produce a lot of money, but the question becomes is, when do they feel rich? And most people will say, they'll fill in their model of the world. Well, when they have $1 million, they'll be rich. Someone else, they've got a higher bell curve. Well, it's got to be 10 million. When they have 10 million, they'll feel rich. Yeah, no, they never feel rich. They think rich. They don't feel rich, because this pattern is driven by a huge abyss that sits in the middle of their soul. They're running away from something. They're not running to something. So you still got to come back to putting passion in your definition of success. And the last point I'll say about this, what's the difference between passion and anxiety then? And it's the same intensity. It's just the glass is half full and the glass is half empty. One you're running, away, one you're running towards. And so this is very, very real. I do a lot of different metaphors. For example, you can go to church every day because you love God, or you can go to church every day because you fear God and you fear punishment. You can run marathons, and you can run every day because you love to run, and you run every day because you're terrified if you stop, you're going to be fat again. So you're running from being fat. Almost all patterns that we have fall into this. So again, passion versus anxiety. One is, I can only see what I love, and one is, what am I running from? Becomes a very, very important data point for you to ponder. Am I going to put passion in my definition of success? Now, I want to cover what I think, most people consider to be the drivers. Now, I'm going to tell this a little bit as a personal story, because I'm in my passion. Brian is in his passion. We do this. We make a lot of money, but we do it for passion. I've been told that if I were to sell wealth, so I've got a lot of affiliate marketers out there, whether they're selling real estate training, financial services training, social media, make your money in the internet, whatever it is. Now I'm always doing, well, you need the success software. It's the perfect diet tool. All diets are perfect because if you follow them work, even a stupid diet, the models, lemon juice and cayenne pepper works. It's just you stop following it. So it's more not about the tools to, success or wealth, or growing your passion business. It's the software. Do you believe your habitual sentence about passion and your habitual sentence about passion and you are well crafted, well engineered, well emotionalized? So whether it's selling wealth or health or all these things, I've been told, well, of course that's easy. People will sign up for a 401k. Heck, a lot of you are here tonight because you hooked on income. I have a lot of seminars on the psychology of success, the psychology of your health. Yeah, always the wealth ones, the income ones, the money ones are the most, because money has the most psychological twists and turns for people. Most people, and here's how I know it, because I've been doing that damn paperclip. When I first saw that thing 6 years ago, I was so darn excited. And I'm waiting for the first person to come to say, I took a paperclip. I get it. I'm resourceful. So selling this personal development stuff that I sell, whether it's growth or leadership or, blah, 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 it's hard. People will invest $1 in their making money to retire on or making money for their kids' college education. They won't spend $1 on themselves. Now, the very sad news is they'll spend money to get out of pain, and selling that is easy, but that's almost ambulance kind of feeling at times. I do great work. I love people that are in pain. It's amazing to see people out of pain, but to get personal development, growth, and that's my passion. I've been told that's really hard, and who's out buying such a positive, upbeat? Again, most people who are in personal growth are trying to grow out of pain. They're not trying to grow into epic, because epic, that would require passion. And now what we have is we're going to get to passion towards the bottom of the slide. Now, when I worked in the Tony Robbins world, which is where I got my start in the early 2000s, I was there about 7 years. I was the top salesman that he had for his events, and he likes an 8 to 12% negative rating because the bottom isn't going to buy from you anyway. So you have to push hard to get into that middle 80% so that you can get the 89th percentile to buy. So that's the business model. But I had less than 1% negative rating because I didn't sell buy Tony stuff. I would say buy your greatness, buy your passion. That's why this is the inevitable you. That's because it's not branded with me, it's branded with you. I'm selling you. I'm selling you there is a way, there is a route to get passion into it. And then if you bought your greatness, I'm going to get my fair share. And I sold more than anybody else sold when I was there on my tenure. I sold things they said could never be sold because it was right into my wheelhouse. He had his top product at that time was $65,000. It was called Platinum Partners. And I was doing what's called the digital events. And they're like, you can't sell them. You need Tony Live. I'm like, oh no, because I'm selling people on greatness and passion. They eventually took the commission structure off the product because I was making too much money at it. We got our fair share. So when I'm selling the inevitable you, again, what's key? I'm selling you on your passion, your greatness, your drivers. This is forever work. It's not just, hey, get me out of pain, get me a bump, get me to the next level. This is a toolbox because even when you get after, unlike the Hollywood movie that has the end. Yeah, no, there's always tomorrow morning. So our intrepid hero that we love so much gets up tomorrow and now starts the new chapter in the new place. So this toolbox goes on, these processes go on. So selling you on your greatness, on your passion is absolutely cruel that you walk away tonight knowing that if you don't know what it means, you're absolutely committed to figuring it out. So either now we're getting closer to what you really, really need to understand. Either you know your passion and now you're using the but tool. Yeah, but I have a job. Yeah, but I have a mortgage. Yeah, but I've got this education. I can't throw it away because my passion, I know what my passion is, but I can't see it as income. And I'm going to cover this. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to give you some real life clients that I've done this coaching work with. Or if you don't know what your passion is, and that's in air quotes there, you've forgotten it. Maybe it's not your karma to have it. Maybe you don't believe you'll ever get it and more. The fact that you're here tonight is encouraging. And again, you are committed to solving these equations. So let me tell you what this looks like. And I'm going to do it in the number one tip for the night. I told you this would be one of the biggest things I gave you. This is the number one tip. It's a tax tip. Now, if you already own your LLC, and if you do, is your passion driving it? Because sometimes multi-level marketers form an LLC. Sometimes I see some people do a home business, but it's more because about the home business versus it's my passion. This is related to passion. Even if you have a job, I have people say, well, I already got withholdings. Why would I want an LLC? Is there something funky? No. This is all legitimate. This isn't even in the gray area. There are 5 things that you need to do in order to qualify your LLC as a legitimate business. It's got to be a legitimate product. You don't even have to make money for 5 years. As long as you're training in it. How will you make money when it's over your job? Because it's your freaking passion. So let me give you what this looks like. I had a client who was sitting in the same webinar, same place you guys are. Why would I have an LLC? I've got a job. I'm working along on my job. He loved motorcycles and he went to Sturgis every year. So I said, look, form an LLC. You're going to market and sell motorcycle tours to Sturgis. You got one product. It culminates once a year. So now you're going to make a little flyer. You're going to put a price on it. You're going to say, hey, do you want to take a guided tour to Sturgis and do a motorcycle? I've been there many years. I'll make it safe. I'll make it fun. I'll arrange it for you. The price, put a price on it. It's $2,000. Every meal you eat out, you ask your waiter, are you interested in going to Sturgis on a motorcycle? Do you know anybody that is? If you ever change your mind, here's my flyer. You now write off every meal that you eat that you want to do this. You now write off your cell phone. You now write off your car. You write off your internet at your home. You write off your home office. And already, again, I have people say, yeah, but I don't pay taxes. I got, $3,000 back last year. I go, no, you didn't get three. The government took 15,000 from you and your taxes were 12. They gave you 3 back and they earned the interest on it that whole year they held it. Now all of a sudden you get 6 or 7 back. And here's the thing about understanding passion. The first year this guy did this, he got no takers. The second year that he did it, he actually got 2 people that wanted to do it. And by his 5th year, He was running. He set the limit at 20. He was running, and there was repeat business. It's a home LLC. It's a passion. You take your passion and you turn it to income. And this is just on tax. You can do this today. You can get on whatever state you're listening in. You can get on and open an LLC generally for $50, and that's tax deductible, by the way. You can open that up for $50. You can make a flyer. You can start writing stuff off June 2nd, tomorrow. If you get on tonight after this call, you can start writing off today. Incredible thousands of dollars that you're paying Uncle Sam. Another example. I had one client, she wanted to do a successful real estate business, but she was doing it because it was the right thing to do. She thought she could make money at it. Her real passion was music. So as we talked about this and we expanded on this, I said, well, look, she was getting ready to buy a 30-unit apartment building, her very first. Great training by Anthony Chara, an affiliate of mine. I'll put a plug in for Anthony. You ever want to make a living and passive income in multi-unit apartment dwellings? Brilliant man, brilliant coursework. She was getting ready to buy a 30-unit apartment building, but it was work for her, and she was struggling, and she was hitting all of her whole habitual sentences. By the way, she's a very successful pharmacist, but she knew that every day was hunting and killing. She was going to be a pharmacist till she wanted to get free of, so she could do her passion. So I said, look, if you took 4 units and you discounted 4 of the 30 and you gave them to music teachers and told music teachers, hey, your discount is you have to offer lessons in the building to kids here, and now you marketed the other 26, not even at a premium. You could market them at standard rates because apartments at that time were running about an 80% fill rate. But because anybody coming in with a kid is going to get discounted music lessons, and in the center lobby once a month, you're going to do these great concerts with both the teachers, and you're going to come up with this really awesome name that's centered on music. Now she was excited. Now that was her passion. So even when you connect passion to other ways. Now let's give you one more example of how this kinds of technology works. You just have to think your way through it. I had another client that was working on fixing and flipping houses. Now her real passion was battered women and abused women. Now we worked hard. We fixed her software and got her to believe that she could do this. Because when she first started this work, she was talking about it, thinking about it, taking course after course after course, but never pulling the trigger. So when we figured out, how do you believe, pull the trigger, blah, 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 and with a lot of passion, she said, I'm going to do 5 homes next year. And if I do 5 fix and flips next year, then I'm going to make my nut. I said, well, now let me ask you a question. And it's not, you say 7, I say 8, you say 10, I say 12. If 5 is the real number, that's your paperclip. I said, can you do 6? And I said, I have a very specific reason because I want to do something with that 6th home. She thought about it and she said, yeah, I can do 6. I'll sign up for 6. I said, great. Here's what I want you to do, because the 5 is going to make your nut. I want you to take the 6th one and I want you to make it into a home that's going to support battered women. You can make it a free home for them to stay at. You can work with local social work services. That they always look for places. You could do anything. You could, for a woman who's out of a battered child, she could have, free rent, reduced rent, because the 5 major nut. What would your passion be if this was the 6? You got so excited. So we took the passion that she had here to believe she could do 5. Well, now this is passion squared. It's incredibly epic. I say, yeah, I got one more thing though. I've always Kind of got one more. I'm going to make this passion cubed. I said, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to take the 6th home and do this. I want you to do it with the 1st home. And then do 5. I want you to ponder what went through her heart, what went through her soul, what went through her passion model. Who was she going to be? I'm telling you, people, when you begin to attach this little mysterious software of passion to the things that you do, because we have a lot of passion taken out of us. We believe that we have to be responsible, and when you're responsible, somehow it contradicts. But that's people who do not understand the and tool. The and tool people know how to be responsible and jack in passion. And when you jack in passion, you can now turn this to income. I defy anybody. You can do it now on the call. You can do it later. I don't care, whatever serves you. When you think about this, I defy anybody to bring me a solution that you find impossible to solve, that if you applied passion to, you either going to make the situation worse, you're going to damage the situation, somehow you just don't buy it. I challenge any of you. And I'm going to finish tonight with one slide, and then I'm going to open it for question marks. I do have an offer for you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Again, as always, you have a little work to do. You got to write Brian. If you write Brian, you're going to get the slideshow tonight, so you can look through and see everything that I've written. We're going to have an audio video capture up for 72 hours so that you can either listen to this again, you can get a spouse, someone you care about, to listen to it. I had a number of people write me, "Ooh, we couldn't make it tonight." Will there be, if you signed up? So we told everybody it'll be up for 72 hours starting tomorrow morning. So it'll be up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We do full service. There's everything from $25,000 products here. And because I am a social worker in my background, I have sliding scale. I always make you pay something. You never gave away counseling for free as a social worker. If all they can afford was $2, you charge them $2 because that was their buy-in. I have my most inexpensive product, and it is robust. It has massive, massive content, $10 a month. But here's what I want you to focus on tonight. There is a monthly, one night a month you're going to devote to get the work input, work output, and then the rest of the month you're going to ponder the work that we do. But there is a virtual mastermind that is a group coaching environment. You get the Live Life by Design course. That's a $97 value. That's 10 hours of audio. That's a 225-page workbook that you get there. You get a detailed model of the world assessment. Brian and I spend 2 to 4 hours doing something, and none of it is boilerplate. It is all unique, and it's still, if you will, handcrafted to you. Now, you're going to have to give me maybe 6 to 12 hours in a written document, a lot of essay questions, but I'm going to spend 2 to 4. I'm going to give that back to you. You get a love seat in that environment, which is in essence a one-on-one and a public environment. There's all kinds of other stuff. You get full archives. You get access to our private Facebook group. You get email and phone support. That's normally $1,000 a year. For you guys tonight in the 72 hours, you can have that for $745, and there's a payment plan for that. That's it. That's the shameless sales pitch. If you want more, I've given you a whole lot more. You've got some writing to Brian. You can get a lot of the video, audio, book chapters that support everything that I've said. I've given you those breaks in context there so that you can go ask for Towards and Away. You can go ask for the formula. I'm telling you, it's life-changing if you don't have this content. If a loved one doesn't have this content, it is transformative. I'm very excited It is my passion, and I do create my income here. So I'm going to open it to questions. Brian, is there anybody dying to talk to me or any written questions?
No questions coming in.
Okay. Lost opportunity. You could have had a tough question asked and answered, but I never push anybody. Let me give you a big salute. And again, with a lot of gratitude, giving me your awesome time tonight. I appreciate it. Sending you on your way. More understanding of passion into income. Any questions, any comments, anything that you want. Uh, we now have a connection. You were here for a reason. Allow me to serve you in whatever way that you need it. Everybody have a great night, and I'll catch you on the flip side. See you later.